morning. Let's try it again. Good morning. First of all, thanks to all of you for taking the time to join re:Invent this week. I know it's a lot to ask from each of you, but first, welcome to this session. This is Partner Experience 204. We're going to talk about developing and delivering line of business solutions on AWS. But before I kick this off, this is our 13th re:Invent this year. Who here, who's this first re:Invent? Anybody, show of hands? All right, few of you, first re:Invent. Anybody here, this is more than fifth time? Anybody here, all 13 years? There's got to be one. There you go, Lahav. Awesome. Hey, so my name is Prashant Adiraju. I'm the enterprise partner leader in the Americas in the partner organization. And I've been at AWS now for about 7 years. I'm today joined by Jay Pillai, who's the principal solutions architect in the Industries and Solutions Center of Excellence. And it gives me great pleasure to have Lahav Savir, who's a CTO at All Cloud, join us for this session, talking about this important topic about how partners think about this space and the voice of the partner perspective. So before I kick this off, I'll talk about the agenda. There's actually 3 parts of the agenda before I dive in. But it's probably important to baseline first how we constructed this session and why this session is important. If you take a step back and look at we as customers in various industries or companies in various industries have really revolutionized or modernized customer experiences, whether it is faster vaccine development, whether it is immersing gaming experiences, whether it's live streaming, whether it is faster financial transactions, and more, or even driverless experience, and even more things like that. Now, what we're seeing is that line of business decision makers, and technical decision makers are now increasingly having a voice on technology decisions. And these decision makers are asking for an increased preferences on, they want their experiences verticalized. They want us as AWS and as partners to really deeply understand the business in which they operate, provide those verticalized experiences, and also understand the challenges and the outcome they want to drive. So what we want to talk about in this session is really 3 things, right? One is I'll set a stage about how big this opportunity is. We'll talk about how can we deliver these solutions? How do we go to market together? The second most important aspect of this is what do we build? Where do we prioritize? How can we build these things faster? And what does a solution really mean, right? So I'll sort of dig into those aspects of it. And then the third aspect of it is how can you as partners really participate? Now, I'm sure all of you have questions, and what we will do in the end is probably about 10, 15 minutes. We'll make sure that each of you have questions that we can address. So any questions, just as I keep going through this, please prepare them, right? We'll have 10 minutes in the end. Now, there's no industry that's not touched by the cloud. AWS provides a set of technology building blocks. It provides specific solutions. Partner community provides even more specific solutions that are very industry specific. We provide a lot of expertise. But if you look at all of this aspect of it, we at AWS are not only customer obsessed, but I like to call us, we're also very industry obsessed. Now, if you take like Pfizer and Moderna are leveraging AWS to rapidly release modern vaccines like the mRNA tech vaccines, or take, for example, Telefonica launching their first 5G network on the cloud on AWS, or take NBC live streaming one of the largest Super Bowl and Olympics in the history using AWS, or for example, take AES that's really optimizing climate change, or NASDAQ launching its first US options market on AWS. And even BlackBerry, for that matter, really customizing and creating this driverless kit that's really virtualizing the driverless experience in the automotive industry. Now, in all these examples, one thing is also, one of the first things is if you'll take some of these critical workloads like healthcare or financial services that are very classified workloads, 9 out of the 10 pharmaceutical companies by revenue run on AWS. All of the medical device manufacturers run on AWS. And a lot of the 7,500 public sector companies also run on AWS. So I think the point that I want to sort of highlight here is there is a lot of industries that we cover, and there's a lot of customer needs that we have to address as an opportunity. Now, in Q3 2024 this year, AWS announced $27.5 billion in revenue that's growing at about 19% year on year. That's a $100 billion plus run rate business. Despite that growth and that revenue, there's still greater than 85% of the IT infrastructure is still on-prem. Now, McKinsey did this analysis a few years ago, and I think that's still very true, is that if you take the Fortune 500 companies, there's like $1 trillion of value that you could realize to your bottom line, which is what they call as EBITDA, and through leveraging modern technologies like the cloud. And if you look at it across the Fortune 2000 companies, that's about $3 trillion. And greater than 75% of those decisions are going to get made by business decision makers and line of business decision makers. And I'll talk about what these solutions are, what those needs are across the industries I touched upon. Now, all of us have gone through these journeys as the community of partners here, as customers here. And one of the things that we take a step back and look at the workload types, we like to think about these in two different ways. One is, look at the foundational workloads. These are customers like NASDAQ, for example. When they launched their first US options market on AWS, we really helped them optimize Outposts for that foundationally. That really helped them improve agility, improve security in a very highly classified market. That's an outcome that they choose to achieve using the foundational building blocks in AWS. Whereas if you take someone like BMW, they migrated the first connected car infrastructure to AWS in 2015. And over the course of the last few years, what they've been able to do is enable much more richer features like driver assistance, over-the-air updates, or even charging optimized route guidance. So this is the evolution a customer goes through. They might start with a very foundational workload like data migration or migrate the entire workload to AWS. Once the data is in, they might start their journey to really deliver those outcomes like what BMW did. I think it's important to also understand, and we'll dig into this a little more in the later part of the session, is there is a symbiotic relationship between these foundational workloads like data and security or even generative AI and these strategic workloads that are very industry specific because you need a security and a compliance in place, you need a data fabric in place, you need certain generative foundation models in place before you can start to realize these business-focused outcomes. Now, I touched upon this in the initial kickoff as the line of business decision makers and business decision makers are more buyers. We have built this growth and the success to date predominantly focusing on builders. And if you look at this buyer profile, what they're really looking for is a more complete solution. And I'll talk a little more about what we mean by these solutions. But these buyers are predominantly looking for pre-built supported solutions from AWS and the partner community here that richly understand not only the infrastructure in which they operate in, the challenges that they face, the outcome that they want to deliver, and I want more of a complete proposition. So our next phase of growth is going to come from this buyer community. So it's not to say the builders are not important. This is an and. That's why you see the and on this slide. It's builders and buyers that we got to be able to address. So we got to be able to move our go-to-market, our build approaches to address this buyer community. Now, I like this quote very much because this was said by a customer at a large company who came from the CR, and I want to dig a little more into this analogy. Now, when we think about what line of business buyers need or business decision makers need, they're looking for a solution response to their challenge. Could be about optimizing performance management of a high-value asset. Think of a high-value asset in a manufacturing supply chain. Or think about being able to deliver autonomous driving capabilities, like if you're a BlackBerry as a partner. So think of those as the business outcomes. Now, there are various solution responses to these. And the way we like to think about these solution responses is in 4 ways. AWS services. Yes, there are 200 plus different levels of services, but there are certain purpose-built services. We have about 40 of them that have been designed for very specific industries. Like, for example, if you take the AWS Elemental Media Services that NBC used to really stream Olympics and Super Bowl, that's an example of a purpose-built service in the media and entertainment space. Next, if you look at AWS solutions, we've got 400 plus such AWS solutions. Like, for example, if you look at live streaming on AWS or content localization on AWS, again, in the media and entertainment space, these are examples of AWS solutions where these are ready-to-deploy solutions that leverage AWS services. It's got the code and the configuration, so it makes it easy for customers and partners like yourself to go deploy them. The third important one here is partner solutions. The community of partners here that are really going very specific into each industry, understanding line of business needs. These could be software as a service solutions, could be technology solutions that ISVs build, could be solutions that the SIs and GSIs build. We'll dig in a little more in terms of what All Cloud is doing in this space. There are 4,500 industry-specific partners that are really building these solutions in place. Now, the fourth one is what we call as guidance. Think of it as best practices. Think of it as blueprints. If you want to deploy, let's just say, the live streaming example that I gave you, you could still do that with guidance and best practices from AWS and from partners, leveraging all of the building blocks in place. So in summary, right, what I want us to have this analogy in mind, the SCAR analogy in mind, solutions come in different flavors and depends on where the customer is, and we've got to be able to meet the customer at the right stage of their journey. Now, I want to talk about this aspect of delivering these solutions. How do we at AWS think about this journey of implementing an industry-aligned go-to-market? The first thing is it starts with solutions. So this is about, if you want to be industry-focused in your delivery of solutions, you have to be solution-focused. And what we mean by that, I'll dig in a little more into the solution hierarchy. But the first aspect of it is to be able to work backwards in each of these industries. And we've got a list of prioritized solutions that we have identified across the industries we covered, the slide that I talked about a few minutes ago. And in each of these industries, there are about 20 to 30 prioritized solutions. And for each of these solutions, there are a hierarchy of use cases. Our go-to-market is oriented around those solutions. Our sales team at AWS is also organized by industry. And there are many partners here that already have sales teams that are organized in a similar manner, who've got line of business relationship, who've got that line of linkage to the decision makers to be able to present these solutions in the right way. And then the marketing around it, right? So this is how we think about the overall aspect of an industry-aligned go-to-market. It's a solution-focused go-to-market. Now, when we think about the solution hierarchy, I'll try to draw your attention to the left, and I'll give you a few examples in the media and entertainment space, is that think of a domain as an industry. It could be like a media and entertainment, which is a very specific industry, or it could be a cross-industry like sustainability or supply chain, or it could be a generative AI technology. Now, within each of these domains is what we have is what we call as solution areas. So think of a solution area in media and entertainment like a direct-to-consumer streaming. That's an example of a solution area. Now, within a solution area, there are many use cases. Like in the direct-to-consumer streaming space, the use cases are streaming media, intelligent operations, or monetization. Now, for each of these use cases, within our AWS solution library is when we have responses. And these responses can be of four. Could be an AWS service, could be an AWS solution, could be a partner solution, or could be guidance. So as you can see in this example on streaming media, you've got an interactive, Amazon interactive video service, live streaming on AWS, video on demand on AWS, and you've got a partner solution like Kaltura. So that's how we want to organize our solution hierarchy on the solution library. Now, if you go back to how we want to go to market, our approach is to be able to leverage the solution repository and those solution responses and be able to address those customer needs by identifying who are the top 20 or 30 customers that are really looking for a streaming media use case. And that's the approach that we take here. Let me end this first part of this session with what is it that makes a solution successful, that's oriented, that's industry-aligned, is a line of business solution. The first aspect of it is it has to be industry-focused. And what we mean by that industry-focused is that it's aligned to those solution hierarchy thing that I talked about. It's aligned to one of those priorities. You may ask, how do we know what the priorities are? We'll address it in a bit. But I think of it as the first aspect of it is to be able to deliver and develop a solution that's aligned to that hierarchy need. The second thing is, it is purpose-built, and what we want, as I gave you in that car example, we want to be able to be purpose-built to solve that customer business problem. Like if you take the live streaming media or the autonomous driver assistance or the asset performance management solution, these are the purpose-built pieces of it. And then the third thing here is we've got to make this easily discoverable, and we've got assets on AWS, like the AWS Solution Library or AWS Marketplace, if you're familiar with. We want to be able to easily deploy these, make it easily discoverable to not only our sales team, your sales teams, and also to customers. We'll dig in a lot more into many aspects of this today, but I want to just leave this first session with this message. Now, what I'd like to do now is invite Lahav up on stage, and we'll talk a little more about how them as a partner of AWS think about this space. Lahav, welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Great to be here. Great event. CG was launched this week, so we are on 11 since this morning.
Yeah.
And all together, we certify a lot of people, and we put our all focus to Amazon, to the AWS, and we are also an Amazon strategic partner. We are just finishing our 4th year of the SCA, and I highly recommend it to anyone who consider that. It gives a lot. So All Cloud is all in, and just, we are very much aligned with Amazon.
Cool. Thank you for your partnership, Lahav. I do want to start off my first question about, as you saw, the theme of this session is about industry. So how does All Cloud approach industry? And maybe start with that.
Sure. So I'll take you 4 years back when we approached our SCA. We wanted to achieve and do something different. We wanted to speed up the customer adoption of cloud services, and this was the main thing. So we launched our Solutions Factory already 4 years ago, and the whole idea about Solutions Factory was to deliver highly repetitive patterns directly into customers and to speed up the delivery, speed up the adoption, and improve quality. And we realized a lot of other benefits which we didn't expect that comes with it. So we started in a very basic thing with blueprints. Blueprints are repeatable patterns, infrastructure as code, which meant to just help our delivery organization to deliver faster at a higher quality. That's how we started. From solutions, we went up to, from the blueprints, we went up to solutions. Solutions are eventually a set of blueprints that are solving a specific use case. It does not necessarily have to be an industry solution, but it is general, it's foundational, and it addresses tens of customers, and it at least has to speed up the delivery by 10 times. Once we built these solutions, then we started to go into very industry-oriented. And over the past year and a half, we are building what we call ICPs, Industry Cloud Platforms, which are solutions, but they are verticalized. They are addressing a single use case of a customer, and it helps us a lot to differentiate in front of a customer, to be aligned with the Amazon sales organizations, because Amazon sales organizations are already verticalized, and there are specific people who are addressing different industries. Altogether, this is how we approach it, and we definitely see a great momentum with that, and we are likely to continue.
So can you, maybe an example of a blueprint? Let's just take financial services. So how do you think about the blueprint in financial services?
Sure. So this is actually one of our first industry solutions we built. The financial services blueprint meant to help banks, insurance companies, to put their foundation on the cloud. Now, if you think of a bank, if you think of an insurance organization, for them to deploy mission-critical and core banking workloads with the sensitivity of data, to trust the cloud, it could take very long. And we found that there was no need to reinvent the wheel for each and every customer. So after building few of these customers, what we did, we grouped together, we collected all the knowledge we learned from these customers based on the different solutions, and we turned it to be the FSI blueprint. The FSI blueprint basically establishes the whole foundation layer for banks, for insurance companies. It has great benefits from security point of view, from operational. But let me give you just one example, which I like a lot, is we approach one of our customers, a very large insurance group, and they wanted to adopt the cloud. They were relatively late adopters, but they come up with their RFP. We kind of answered the RFP, we reached out, but after a little while, in the conversation, we told them, we saw your requirements, but let us show you what we have specific for the industry. And I would say this was a game changer, because the customer realized that the solution that we are providing is so much better from what they requested originally. And so they planned for about a year long of rollout of the cloud foundation, but eventually it was finished in 2.5 months. And just imagine what it means. About 10 months of saving for such a large organization. It is, definitely an accelerator, but also a significant cost saving. And this is the beauty of solutions. When you hit on the customer need, when you hit exactly in their vertical, in their use case, things moving much faster.
No, that's a good point. So in this journey, who are you targeting? Who are the customer you're targeting? Are you targeting the line of business decision maker, the technical decision maker?
Yeah, I think that the discussion about who is the buyer is really important. Definitely, when you sell normal cloud infrastructure, you are talking to the IT. You sell another platform, another capability. When we talk to the specific business need, the buyer is normally the use case owner. So if we look at another solution that we released with PSF, actually at the early stage of PSF, is the industrial data instance in a box. This is a platform for manufacturers to really leverage the OT data. I don't know how many of you are familiar with OT, and OT is very siloed. If you look at companies, they have multiple factories with the OT environment. They're super isolated. There's a ton of data there, but there's not much use of it, not an efficient use of it, and definitely not enough monetization. So as an example, the buyer here was the plant manager, OT excellence people. These are the people who need to tweak and get another 2 or 3% on their margins from the factory. So they are the buyers. So in this example of the industrial data instance in the box, we provide 2 layers there. It went beyond what we did financial services. It was the security layer, which is allowing an OT and cloud convergence as number 1, and addresses all the regulation needs, but also the whole data layer to really leverage the OT data, but with the power of the cloud. So as an example, this customer that we deployed it to is a chemical manufacturer, and they are buying raw oil for the production, for the manufacturing. And imagine what it means 6 months or 8 months of oil ahead. They need to do different bids on different oil qualities. At the end of the day, by having the OT data, by being able to run HPC on the cloud, they're able to do a lot better bids on their oil, and eventually led to a 3% of improvement in the raw material and the margins. So it is a significant number without the power of the cloud. They used to run these HPCs on physical hardware, which could take weeks. Now it runs in a matter of hours. So they can make the right bid and advance the business. So again, hitting on the typical need make a big difference.
No, I think that's an important point, Lahab. So I do want to talk about one aspect of it, which is the value chain of the customer. I touched upon this early on, which is you might start with data foundations or security compliance. So how do you think, or even generative AI, so how do you think about that value chain in order to deliver that outcome that you're talking about?
So the way we look at customers, we are trying to be the partner for life. We want to provide them a continuous value throughout the relationship. We see our customers as partners, number 1. We want to serve them for all their needs going to the cloud. So what we try to do is we think of it as a flywheel. We start with a very foundational capabilities of, let's say, the landing zone. On top of that, we provide them with solutions and ready-made capabilities to run their application platforms, whether it's containers. And from here, we enter with them into a whole migration journey and modernization, and also providing data platform. Again, remember back, these are blueprints which are ready-made. They are high quality and they're repeatable, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. So from here, we go with them into managed services, and we continuously add value to them. And this is normally going into EDPs. As we see ourselves as a partner, we want to be on the customer side. We want to provide them as much as value we can and build this relationship for as long as possible. So I think being able to deliver these solutions and help the customers speed up and save time and improve quality with providing our knowledge in the industry, in the specific use case, kind of accelerate this flywheel, and this is what we are targeting to going forward.
So I want to touch upon another thing, which is, and I talked about it early on, which is all of us here as AWS and the community of partners have a ton of solutions that we have built over the years. Now, are we done building? What are you doing next? Because I think there's a two-pronged approach here. Right? Sell what we have, make sure customer needs are being addressed, and the other aspect of it is to build the next generation ones. Right?
Yeah. So, you definitely don't expect us to settle down and stop. So actually, over the past months, we've been working on a consumer goods solution. Interesting with this solution, as we evolved, right, we started with the FSI blueprint, then we evolved to the industrial data insights, which is more data. Now, with Amazon launching the consumer good competency launched actually this morning, we combined two critical capabilities. We look at the consumer goods, which is very consumer-oriented. It's all about the customer. And what we did here is a combination of Salesforce. So as you know, Salesforce with Hyperforce are now moving to Amazon. And moving to Amazon meaning there's a lot of capabilities to share data between Salesforce and AWS natively. And Salesforce launched Data Cloud. What we do is all cloud with this solution is eventually kind of the glue between the Salesforce environment and the Amazon analytic environment. And what we do, we build these customers a whole set of capabilities to really leverage AI within the Salesforce and the customer journey context. With this, I'll give the example I like to give is, generative BI. Customers and the consumer goods, they are living on data and reports. So for anyone in the company to go in and just question the data in a natural language through QuickSight, the Gen BI capabilities, is providing a significant power to those people who are always depending on an analyst. If you run a chatbot with Bedrock, right, on the same data set, Data Cloud is all about living on data and with inventory and supply chain. By putting this environment, the Customer 360 platform, bring it into Salesforce, make a significant change. An example, one of our customers which we deployed it for, they indicated that they have a 25% in sales productivity based on these solutions. So if I connect all the dots by, again, being on the spot for the customer, providing a well-architected, pre-built solutions, speed up the journey, and get to a higher satisfaction because customers are kind of, I think, sick and tired of building platforms and foundations. They want to get directly into the use case, and this is what we try to do with all these solutions.
Yeah, and by the way, this Customer 360 is not just consumer goods like you touched upon. It can have a cross-industry applicability as well.
Definitely, there are more flavors of this coming. What we realize is the Customer 360 is all about customers. The difference between a CG, financial services, and others is the data inside, it's less architecture.
Yeah.
So we are seeing a great potential with that, and the collaboration of AWS, Salesforce, and a partner seems to be promising.
No, you're right. It's about that use case alignment. You got to get very industry specific.
Yes. All right, so we've done all this, and there's always, a great support from the Amazon PSF. So I do want to invite Jay from the PSF, who kind of supporting partners like us on this journey, and to give you a walkthrough, how does it look behind the scene or under the hood of how PSF help partners like us to build these solutions. Thank you.
Thanks, Lav. I'm Jay Pillai. Thanks all of you for being here. So let me talk about PSF. As you know, we are continuously improving and innovating on behalf of both our customers as well as partners. One such improvement is the partner solution framework. This partner solution framework, as you can see here, spans the ideation, design, build, delivery, and GTM, as well as the entire lifecycle management, all the lifecycle stages of a partner solution. So what does it help, right? So it is specifically focused to help you create and for our customers to adopt these industry-focused and outcome-oriented solutions that they can deploy and use to address their challenges. So that's what we are trying to help you build or create. Now, how is it going to benefit our customers? So customers, it's making it easy for them to go and subscribe and get these solutions. Customers can be rest assured that these solutions are well architected and should meet their needs and address their challenges that they may have. Now, as partners, you may ask us, what's in it for me? As partners, you can co-innovate and collaborate, not just with AWS, but other AWS partners to build those industry-grade solutions and offer that to the customers. Now, what do we make available within this PSF? So we provide you with assets, templates, guides, part of this PSF framework. These include working backwards mechanisms. These include mechanisms to develop PRFAQ. We also include something called guidance packages, which I'll dive deep into the next set of slides, that help you ideate, build, and launch minimally lovable products or minimally lovable solutions on AWS and sell that or offer that to your customers. Now, let me dive deep into what a PSF guidance package is. As you can see here on the left side, this goes back to the hierarchy or the taxonomy that Prashant alluded to earlier. So it starts off with a domain and goes all the way to use cases. So we have prioritized set of use cases that we continuously iterate and add to. What we do is we provide these guidance packages that are one-to-one aligned with these prioritized industry use case. So what is in a guidance package? The guidance package contains 10 assets that you can use to ideate, build, and launch a partner solution. So let me go through them. So the first set of assets that you get are the first call deck, the use case package, and the demo video. First call deck, you can use the contents of the first call deck to incorporate that into your marketing materials that you can take it to your customers and have a conversation about it. It helps you and the customer understand what the use case is and what's behind it. Who is the persona that is going to look at that particular, or who is in need of that particular solution, and who is the sort of the buyer who is looking for a solution. The use case package, I'm sure you've built partner solutions and you have them on AWS Marketplace. So you're supposed to provide GTM content, which includes sales brief and solution brief, as an example. So these use case packages provide you with the sample solution brief and sales brief that you can take that content and incorporate in your partner solution GTM package and provide it back to us. Demo videos, you can use those demo videos and understand what the use case is, as well as use those demo videos in your conversations with customers to help them understand what your solution or what potentially could be a solution that you can offer. Reference architecture, GitHub source code, code walkthrough, and cost estimation sheet. These you can use during your design and build phases of the part of the solution build for the prioritized industry use case. We offer these either on GitHub or on Partner Central. If it's source code, you can get them on GitHub. We publish those. You can use those assets in your build. The cost estimation template or the cost estimation sheet that we provide, we take a near real workload characteristic, and we estimate out the cost that it takes to run the that particular that workload. It gives you a fair idea of what it costs you. We give you a sample security threat model. I'm sure all of you do security threat model. You want your partner solutions to be secure. Your customers want it to be. So we give you a sample security threat model that you can use as a starter once you're in the process of building your partner solution. We give you a static code analysis report out as well, indicating that your solution potentially could be well architected if you're following those reference architecture, the code assets that we provide to you. The enablement Kickstarter basically allows your builders to experience the guidance package on either an AWS account that is your own, or an AWS account that we temporarily provision for you, that you can work along with your partner solution architect to experience what we include in the guidance package. And once you have used the guidance package, you build a partner solution, and you offered that partner solution to a customer, we can co-author a blog with you and have that blog published on the AWS blog. That gives you a mechanism to sort of take it to other customers. Now, if you look at it, the guidance package sort of sits in between or acts as a bridge between the use case or the domain that Prashant talked about and your solution that gets deployed to multiple customers. So think about it. This is basically accelerating the ability for you to build and launch a partner solution. Let me tell you how or where you can consume these PSF guidance packages. So we are soon going to be adding a tile that you see here. This is Partner Central. So there is going to be a new tile that's added called Industry Partner Solutions. All these guidance packages and assets that are part of PSF will be offered through this particular tile. Let me show you how it looks like. So this is what you will be able to go and look at today. You'll be able to consume it, all the assets that we make available part of PSF. So we've launched 3 guidance packages so far, 2 in financial services and 1 in retail. They are investment analyst and omni-channel claims processing in financial services, and something called a virtual personal stylist that we offer. As these are the 3 guidance packages that we offer today. You'll be able to, again, consume all this from within Partner Central. All the assets that I talked about, all the 9 assets that I talked about, you'll also be able to download them or access them from within the resources section of Partner Central. These either provide links to GitHub source code, or you'll be able to download the PowerPoints or Word documents or the Excel templates. Excel sheet, for example, the cost estimation sheet. You'll be able to download them and then start using them in your solution lifecycle. How many of you are familiar with AWS Partner Assistant? So we launched AWS Partner Assistant, I think last week. So this AWS Partner Assistant is a Amazon Q for Business enabled bot that you'll be able to consume within the Partner Central. You'll be able to ask questions. Like, for example, here, I'm trying to ask a question about guidance package and investment analyst. You'll be able to ask those questions in your process of building and launching a partner solution. So the AWS Partner Assistant brings that information to you right in your hands. Let me briefly talk about AWS Marketplace. Vast majority of business leaders at our customers tell us that their business will be completely different in 5 years' time. And just like running, it's all about the pace. You need to keep up the pace of innovation. The faster time to market, the better the opportunities that you get. To evolve at this pace, our customers are in need of technical skills that you all bring, as well as your solutions that the industry solutions that you've built. We have worked with our customers to propel hundreds of thousands of opportunities via the AWS Marketplace. Let me give you some metrics about the AWS Marketplace. This is metrics from 2023. There has been billions of dollars of sales transactions that have happened on the AWS Marketplace. again, through solutions, industry solutions and partner solutions that are offered on AWS Marketplace. What we see is that a solution is able to attract 27% higher win rates when compared to not having a partner solution out there. You also see that the sales cycles that you have with customers is 40% faster when you have a partner solution in the conversation. You also see that the deal sizes when you have a solution, partner solution, going back to the point that like Lav made, want to be a partner for life, we see that the deal sizes are 80% bigger when compared to not having a partner solution. So these are some statistics around Marketplace. Marketplace, I'm sure all of you are familiar, is going to allow you to list your partner solutions and sell those partner solutions to our customers. Here is a quote from a partner of ours. This is Deloitte. So I briefly mentioned the omni-channel claims processing guidance package. So Deloitte used that guidance package to build a partner solution called TrueServe. So it has a use case around FNOL stands for First Notice of Loss in the claims. So they were able to quickly create an FNOL quick start. And like you can see here, they were able to do it 20 to 30% faster. Now think about that, and to what Lav mentioned, you have a partner solution that you're able to build 20 to 30% faster. And when you have a partner solution, in the example that Lav mentioned, he indicated an RFP where they planned for a year, they were able to get it deployed in two and a half months. So think about the acceleration that you get with a PS of guidance package, plus compounding that with the speed of deployment. Like I mentioned, you're able to go faster, right? And time to market is critical when you look at partner solutions or industry use cases. I have a few call to action for you. So reach out to our partner development your partner development manager who's on AWS. If you have industry solutions that you want to enhance with the prioritized use cases, I would request you to go and explore and download these guidance packages. We have a roadmap to offer all through next year guidance packages that are specific to industry and prioritized use cases. So I request you to go explore, download them, consume them from Partner Central. In Partner Central, we do have a form for feedback. We request your feedback on the guidance packages that we launch and provide to you. I also request you to provide us feedback about the session in your AWS Events app on your mobile.